Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to talk about one of the most important things that you can do to position yourself as an experienced dancer. The thing is, you can position yourself as an experienced dancer in your early age if you cultivate the right habits. What I mean by that is you don't have to be dancing for 20 years before you can actually position yourself as someone who knows what he's doing and is pretty good at what he's doing as well. All right, so this is exactly what we're going to dive into, and I will be talking mainly about one thing in particular that you can do to position yourself as an experienced freestyle dancer at an early age. All right, one of the things that will almost immediately position you as an experienced freestyle dancer is to master subject development. What do I mean by subject development? You can also call it, most people call it movement development. But the reason why I say subject development, because to me it goes beyond movement. Because sometimes you're not actually developing a movement, you are actually developing a topic, a subject, or a concept. All right. So this is why I do not just call it movement development, right? But when you understand how to master subject development, then you can very quickly position yourself as a confident dancer but also as an experienced dancer, because you are able to show to the audience that you know what you are talking about. It's like if I'm talking to you right now and I tell you the subject, yeah, that I'm gonna be talking about, but I start talking about it like in for 5 seconds, and suddenly I change the subject, and all of a sudden I'm all over the place and I'm saying many things, but it doesn't really make sense. You see what I mean? Because I'm jumping from one subject to another without link between them. Does that make sense? So when we are dancing, it's exactly the same way. You need to be able to maintain and develop the subject that you are talking about, or yeah, in a way that the audience will totally get what you are saying. Does that make sense? Do not overcomplicate the process. A subject can be anything. Just this movement can be a subject. Yeah, just this movement can be a subject. Just this movement can be a subject, right? So it's all about what you're gonna develop from just this. Yeah, so it can be just this movement. Yeah, you don't need to overcomplicate it. Now from this movement you can either say, all right, from this I'm going to actually develop my shoulder, right? Yeah, it can be, a movement development, but it can also be from this movement I am creating a scenario instead of developing a movement. What I mean by that is by moving your shoulder, you can say, instead of I don't want to actually develop my shoulder and create movement with my shoulder. I want to create a scenario where I'm showing that I feel pain in my shoulder. So now automatically the same movement has a different interpretation. Does that make sense? Because this time, while you are moving your shoulder, you're doing the same movement, but this time the concept is different, the meaning is different. So therefore, you're gonna interpret it in a different way, even though you are coming from the same movement. You see what I mean? So movement development, there is no limit to it. It's just a matter of being able to start something, develop it to its full potential, or at least start something and develop it as long as you can, right? And it has to make sense. It has to be readable. And one of the best way to become good at movement development or subject development is to train yourself to dance on one music, yeah, you use the entire music with one subject. So you can play the music and you start with one subject. Okay, you say, all right, this is gonna be the subject. I don't know, it's gonna be just this, all right? And from this, it can be movement development or maybe a scenario that you are creating from this. And from that movement, you do the entire song. And please, please, please do not overcomplicate it. Don't think about, okay, what I'm gonna do next, or here's what I'm gonna do. No, no, no. Just let it go, knowing that the subject or the concept is this, and you just let it flow. And do not try to do a crazy performance or something very amazing. No, just get into the habit of developing the movement, developing a subject, developing a scenario. You see, just play with your imagination. Just let your imagination flows and let your creativity flows. Do not set expectation like, oh, I want to do like a crazy performance or a crazy round with this movement. No, yeah, you just get into the habit of starting a subject and you expand it, you develop it as much as you can. That's the goal, yeah? So I'm gonna do a demo where I'm gonna be using the entire song and I'm just gonna do this movement, right? Very simple movement, and I'm just gonna play around with it, yeah? Nothing crazy, yeah? Just to show you how you could possibly do that for yourself as well, all right? So check it out and I'll see you after that.
Give me pounds, give me dollars, give me francs, yeah. Straight to the bank, yeah. Fuck your things, cause the product is a thing, yeah. Melomaniac, call me Wolfgang, yeah. Used to be a baller, but now I wanna build game. Ain't no way around it, sign a check and pay. They really miss my name in every way. Now they looking for my name in every place. These labels won't sign me, man, what a cliche. No discussion, no introduction. Attitude was funny, then I started hustling. They used to hate my moves, now they start to love it. And I ain't really got big jacks, where the money? Give me money, gotta pay me. And all my niggas on the road trying to get it. It's a statement, we got a vision. Did it all by myself, fuck your submission. Look, I got it, you never see this. Make a nigga disappear like it's bleaching. Shout out the music industry, I won't change. I got a mic in the end and never be afraid. Now I'm in it, full time, man, watch me get it. I see these bitches, Ali's like Frank's pictures. Never trusted them niggas, cause I ain't feeling niggas. Turning you bad, wishing you bad bitch niggas. Give me money, gotta pay me. And all my niggas on the road trying to get it. Look, I got it, you never see this. Make a nigga disappear like it's bleaching. Shout out the music industry, I won't change. I got a mic in the end and never be afraid.
One thing to keep in mind is that it's great to identify as soon as possible if you have more like a logical thought process when you are doing subject development, or if you have a more instinctive thought process when you are doing subject development. The reason why I'm saying this is some people dance in a more logical way. So if they put their arm here, they're gonna try to find the logical next step. Yeah, it can be something like, okay, if I put my arm here, then I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna do this, and 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 you see, so it's more kind of a logical and very well structured. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, but if your thought process is mainly logical, it's good to identify it as soon as possible so you know which approach that you can use, yeah, because it's your strength to develop your subject, right? Now, on the other hand, if you realize that when you move your arm this way, then you suddenly move on the other side and then you do something completely different, but it still have a link. Yeah, it still have a link, but it's not that structured. It's much more organic. Yeah, so maybe you are more on the instinctive side. Yeah, and usually this type of people, they struggle a bit more to start with a subject and develop it, because their mind is much more instinctive. You know, it's like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen next, but I just do this. But there's nothing wrong with this as well. It's just that you need to be aware of it and understand that you are more in this category. In this, once you understand that, it will be easier for you to use this in your advantage. For example, I am more in the instinctive side, so I used to struggle a lot to have well-structured movement. Yeah, so I'm not saying because you are instinctive you can't be logical, and vice versa. You can be both, right? But understand and identify your strength as soon as possible, so you can use this approach to get the result that you want when you are doing subject development, right? And then over time, you can become so good at your own approach, which is logical or instinctive, then you can also use the logical side of you, right? Maybe it's not as strong as your instinctive side, yeah, but you can still use it over time, you see? So having the right balance between both can be really helpful. But by identifying the one that works for you the most, yeah, this will help you getting better at movement development much faster. So here's the way I think about it: logical thought process equal movement development. Like I said before, you can say, all right, I'm gonna move my shoulder. Because you have a logical thought process, you're gonna be more like, okay, I'm developing my shoulder, I'm gonna create movement with my shoulder. Now if you have more of a instinctive thought process, this approach might not work for you. Then instead you can start thinking more scenarios. Yeah, you can say, all right, I'm gonna move this my shoulder, but it's not movement development. I'm not gonna develop my shoulder. I actually feel pain on my shoulder, and I'm gonna show the audience how painful my shoulder is right now, and suddenly my freestyle is completely different. Does that make sense? So that's what I mean. Understand which approach works best for you, and then you start using it in your performance. You start using it to become very good at subject development, because it's extremely crucial to understand how to be great at developing your movement and use your movement to its full potential. Very important. All right, so that's it for today, guys, and I hope you find value from this video. If yes, as usual, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated with all the videos coming. All right, so thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you want to develop your freestyle dance to the next level, then the Beyond the Move Academy might be exactly what you are looking for. And the good thing is you can actually start today for free. All right, so if you'd like more details about this, simply click on the YouTube card here to have, and you will go on my website to have much more details about that. All right, so I'll see you on the other side. Take care. Bye bye.